what's going on? It's BMega from Now 1057, hanging out with all American Rejects. So you guys, have you guys ever been to Spokane before?
I think we have.
I was going to say the exact opposite.
It's like one of those places that maybe you were here once or twice before, you woke up in it but don't remember.
Did we do like Warped Tour? I think Warped Tour. Didn't Warped Tour come through Spokane? Or maybe there was a rest stop on the way too.
Either way, we might have stopped in one of our travels.
Yeah, I think we've definitely done something here before, but maybe not. So yeah, it's great to be here finally.
So you guys also brought the snow. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
We've had like a mild winter this entire winter for some reason. I think a lot of places have, and then all of a sudden we're getting this late snowfall, and you guys have to come rolling in and bringing that to us. So
yeah,
for the people who can't get out of their driveways, they thank you. So you guys have your 4th album coming out. I hear a lot of bands and artists doing this. Basically, this has been one of your guys' strategies before. You guys literally just kind of lock yourselves up and just kind of start working out. What is the strategy behind that? And tell us some of the secret stories that happen behind the scenes when you guys are locked up. I think like a lot of ordered pizza and drugs of some sort.
You know, maybe back in the day, but this time it was more like a lot of wine and pounds of coffee. We had this sort of regimen of, you know, going to bed at 4 a.m., waking up at 4 p.m., and then, you know, sort of step and repeat. But, you know, Nick and I, when we started writing for our new record, Kids in the Street, especially on the first writing trip, the song Beekeeper's Daughter that we're going to put out, it was that song, how that song came to fruition was really kind of funny. I was sort of lost in this excess of Los Angeles, and sort of Nick had to pull me out, and he's like, let's just go write, man, we got to, you're crazy, I'm the only one that's sane, we got to figure this out. And we went up like nowhere, Northern California.
Some national park.
We wrote the song Beekeeper's Daughter, but we hadn't titled it yet, and Nick's making breakfast the following day, and there's this bottle of honey that just says Beekeeper's Daughter on it. And he's like, why don't we just, can we call the song Beekeeper's Daughter? And that's sort of like the funny way about how, you know, when you're locked up in a prison of writing, you know, you sort of, even the most ridiculous suggestions often make the cut. So yeah, it's a fun thing to lose yourself in a writing process.
Is it like some of those kind of things like Honey or like some TV show or an infomercial that kind of inspire, like what inspires you guys when you guys are locked up in these types of places?
Well, I mean, that song especially, it was just sort of like a little Polaroid of where I was in my head at the moment. We just got off this massive ride for Gives You Hell, and the coming down off that high was like, had some crazy withdrawals, man. It was, I was 25, and I just sort of finally decided, you know, hey, I'm gonna party, and let's move to Los Angeles and just really just drown ourselves in a bottle of excess and, you know, poisonous women. And I felt bulletproof, and that song Beekeeper's Daughter is just about this asshole who can just walk around the world and, you know, thinks he owns it and never has any apologies.
This album's kind of is kind of about more about you guys yourselves, isn't it? It's more about like kind of diving into the music about you personally, than maybe, and it's a little bit more collective than you guys have been in the past.
Yeah, I think, you know, just the fact that we've been doing this for 10 years now, this 4th record, I mean, we've done 4 records in 10 years, and a lot of bands do 4 records in 5 years, and they just they follow up some sort of pressure that the label puts them under. You know, we shut our phones off. We don't care what people want us to do. We always sort of like to put our feet back on the ground and assess life, because you're not going to write about this perverted, you know, pseudo-reality that is the road and just sort of, you know, whatever sort of, you know, it's not like I'm going to write a song about, you know, my day at the VMAs.
But I mean, I think that happens a lot in music. I mean, like you said, four albums in 5 years. You guys have taken 10 years. Do you guys feel like a sense of pressure from fans or from the label to produce something that's a hit on the radio? Because I mean, you look at stuff that's on the radio. I mean, it can go anywhere from talking about writing and spending money to girls to just partying. And you're talking about making an album that's a lot about yourselves. And sometimes people really just don't care. They want a song that like just pops off the radio. How much pressure do you feel to get a hit on the radio?
I think the majority of the pressure comes from ourselves, just to do something that actually, you know, challenges us, whether it be lyrically or musically, and it's just something that, you know, that we like,
yeah,
something new.
We've always been a band who just sort of thrives on the fact that we write catchy tunes. I mean, that's how we got where we are. So it's not like we want to write some ethereal Bjork departure. You know, we just sort of want to do what we do and make sure that that's untainted. You know, I don't know what you were gonna say, Mike.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know, we're a band that's centered around guitars, so we can't worry about the radio too much these days.
That's true. I mean, the radio is so I mean, especially, I mean, top 40 has become so popular in a certain aspect. I have like this weird, interesting story that I wanted to share with you guys. It's like, I guess everyone has like certain songs that mean something to them, and I don't think I can think of maybe a handful that have any kind of meaning to me for what reason or not. And actually, Swing Swing is something a song that has super meaning. I think it was, I don't even know if I've ever told this story like publicly or on air, but like when I was in high school, one of my best friend's brothers died, and that song was really popular on the radio. And every single time I listened to it, even like getting ready for the interview, I couldn't even listen to the entire song because it takes me back in this very nostalgic place of like when that happened, and it creates this huge sense of emotion for me personally.
Right.
I mean, and I totally dig that. Like,
That's
you guys
awesome.
make music, like, I guess that are personally that people can connect to.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. The crazy thing is about doing these shows. It's like, you know, we're playing like that A Club tonight, which is like really small cap. Really, truly, we haven't really been just whoring out the promotion for it. It's just been, you know, on the internet or just a little bit before. And the kids that are coming out are the kids that have been listening to us for 10 years. And some of these kids were 12, and now they're 22, and beautiful and budding. but it's just a trip that we've been a band that
Sure.
that kids have grown up with, and yeah, when they hear Swing Swing, they think, man, that reminds me of you know, getting lost in a back road with my best friend, and we snuck a bottle of schnapps or something, and and it was just like we lost ourselves in the breath of the night, and that especially is really what even our record Kids in the Street is about. It's about, you know, this guy who lost himself, which was me, I guess, but then, you know, in order to sort of figure it out, I reflected on those moments where music mattered to me the most, where I had this sort of naivety that was pure, and you know, it's cool that we could be a part of that for kids, you know, not only when they were 12, but now they're coming into 22.
You talk about being lost, I mean, a lot, especially going through this album. Do you feel like you're found, I guess, in some way? I mean, do you feel like the album helped you, or do you still feel kind of like lost in this kind of array of what is reality and then what you're going through?
No, man, I think writing this record was really cathartic for me, just because I was battling a lot of demons. So in order to put them down on paper and then to burn it on a track, it's really kind of a healing process. You know, it's the first time I've actually turned to music for some sort of sense of saving, as opposed to just
Playing to play and
yeah, or just like writing a song. You know,
Sure.
I used to be so domesticated. When I was like 20, I had a girlfriend. We lived in Florida. I wore linen pants and
what happened?
you know, it's crazy, man. You can get lost in some sort of, you know, every time you come off the road, you can make up your own reality. It's like this perverted fun. It's like you have the means to do it, and you can just, hey, I'm gonna make up my little life here in Pleasantville.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't think I've really found it yet, but I think the crazy thing is this is our real life. Like being on the road together.
Is it? I mean, is being on the road real life for you?
I think it's just the most comfortable life we feel.
That's so weird. Yeah, 'cause I would think being on the road would make you kind of feel that way. Like, I guess you're just coming off and living different cities and not knowing where you're going to be. But then it becomes real life for you, I guess, as someone who's tours all the time.
It's a pirate's life.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like you're Jack Sparrow or something. You're just bouncing around from place to place. And
We'll take it.
yeah. So you guys play at the A Club. This sold out. What can we expect other than just you guys dusting off the rust? I mean, are you guys just going to have some fun? What can we expect to see from this, or what do you want to accomplish?
We've only done 3 shows so far, but they've been some of the longest shows we've ever played because
It's awesome.
it's really hard to get us off that stage. It's
been so long. Like,
yeah.
well, hell, I'm
It's a
going to
blast,
enjoy it.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having fun. And when the connective tissue, that invisible, you know, umbilical cord that you have to the crowd, when you feel like you're feeding them and like they're growing and growing and growing, and 70 minutes in, you're just like, oh my God, I don't want to get off this ride. So yeah, you definitely expect a night to remember.
Well, thank you guys for coming in, chatting with us, and at the A Club tonight. It's sold out, but hopefully you guys have a good time and then just play forever, I guess.
Yeah. We'll be there tomorrow night too.
All right, thanks, sir.